In this video, I'm going to talk about how to teach kids about business and how they can start today making money. So in this video, I'm going to talk about two concepts that are absolutely necessary for not only kids' businesses, but for every business. I'm going to talk about how to set it up, because a lot of you parents out there, you kind of tuck them under you in a little different way. I'm going to talk about how to take the best tax advantage way of setting this up. So get a pen and paper, that's critical. And then I'm going to go for a big one. I call them big, hairy, audacious goals, right? How to do a six-figure business with your child. And I know some of you say, I just want a little bit of money. Why? Sometimes the kid's idea and their genius in technology these days will blow your skill set out of the water. So partner with those kids. That's how I made Millionaire Kids, is in partnership with a lot of these little geniuses. You got to let them run. All right, let's begin. What are the two concepts that are absolutely critical for every business? Absolutely critical, right? Number one is profitability. You got to have revenue, which means you got to have a sale. So if you ever watch Shark Tank or The Profit or any of those shows on TV, which by the way, just be really clear, they're doing all of that for entertainment. This is education. There's a big difference. So I'm going to teach you all the how-tos, but you'll get some fun ideas out there. What's the first thing though that every shark asks? Did you make a sale? So you have to get profitable, and you have to get profitable fast. So I mean, I am a master of fast cash and today cash. I'll go into those concepts in just a moment. But the other thing that's absolutely critical is how that business taxed. Why would you make all this money to then set up an interesting tax strategy? Because right now for you, the parent, depending on how much money this company makes, you're the one that has to front it. Like the kid cannot be in the business, right, until they're 18 years old and they're a legal adult. But how I made my kids millionaires on paper is exactly the strategy I'm going to teach you coming in the next few minutes. So stay tuned on how I made my kids millionaires on paper. Strategy is critical. But the two things that have to happen, you have to have sales. You got to get to revenue as fast as you can. And you have to treat it like a business, not like just the extra little thing that the kids are going to do out from the side. And, you know, I'm giving a talk in November to a huge conference, and the title is, you know, a side hustle will make you a couple $100. A hustle will make you hundreds of thousands. And there's a difference in how you not only just structure it legally, but how you address it energetically. Like, are you just doing this because you want a couple $100, which that's fine, but know your goals with your kids. So if you're doing it because you want to go for it, I mean, think about it. Does your kid's skill set, is the thing that you're going to work on, is it a six-figure business? Right? Go out and look, go do due diligence. This amazing thing called, you know, the internet. I call it the bathroom wall, where anybody can write anything about anything. So some of it's not all accurate, right? It's kind of the interesting's out there, but there's enough examples of what are businesses doing and can they make six figures? Some businesses can't. Some businesses are just kind of real hobby kind of businesses. There's a lot, you'll be surprised, like Massage Envy. I've got clients that are actually owners of Massage Envy, and they make 7 figures a month on their distributions, right? People say, you can't do that with massage. Oh yeah, you can. Tutoring. I have clients who started the Tutor Doctor, right? Through tutoring. All of your kids, if you have genius kids, right? Let them run, let them start tutoring kids. In this environment, with the amount of kids going to homeschool, there is a huge need. I can tell you some of them, sciences and math are enormous. Parents, I mean, when's the last time you took a math class? When's the last time you can walk your kids through an algebra and a geometry equation and a calculus equation? So your kids could create tutoring companies. Your kids could create art. They could create jewelry. I've had jewelry makers in Australia become multimillionaires doing jewelry. Little hobbies become multimillionaires, right? The jewelry I'm wearing right now, they're not millionaires yet, but they are very well-off women in South Africa that have made amazing jewelry. Again, up to you on how you want to decide what that is. But how do you teach them about business, which is the point of the whole video, is you got to keep them side by side. And as you build that infrastructure, which we're going to talk about next, you got to think about profitability and the structure for the taxes. So how do you become incorporated, right? We have a link below where I'm going to have you fill out an application to have a conversation about what kind of entity. I don't care what country you're in. We need to get that business set up properly, because you're the legal adult and your kid could be named in it, but they legally have no rights. They can't even be on the bank account until they're 18 years old. But I want you to be in that conversation and that energy, so when they're 18, it just flows. I promise you, I've created so many parent-child relationships where they become great partners. Or the child takes it on and does a buy-sell agreement with the parent and takes it on and takes it over. But the way you're going to raise the kids is through modeling, through watching how you do the business. So these are for those of you who are really taking this serious. We're not talking about never pay your kids an allowance and little side hustle stuff. We're talking about business. And if you're an entrepreneur, the obvious, take them to work with you. My kids have been in our offices, any office I ever go to, whether it's our real estate office, whether it's a development company's office, whether it's a dealership, the pizzeria, doesn't matter. The kids come in and they understand, and you have those conversations. That's probably the most valuable thing as a parent you can do to teach your kids about business, is have them be included in whatever you're doing. But legally, the way you do it on paper, whether it's real estate or business or both, is what I did. I did it with the intention of knowing that my son Logan will become my partner and that my daughter Tristan will become my partner as they become 18, and we're going to grow them and we're going to give them credit cards and debit cards, and they're going to really understand money, and they're going to help do reconciliations, and they're going to understand the sales. So what do you do once you have the corporation set up? You get a checking account, you get a savings account. We have an amazing process to take it through to get corporate credit, so you actually have the ability to get some good funding if it's necessary. But let's get to sales right away. Let's get those kids excited because they're going to see the revenue, they're going to see the sales, they're going to see the fulfillment. So I'm a huge fan of pre-orders. So I don't care if it's pictures of the kind of jewelry you might make for people, or it's pictures of, the real estate that you're going to renovate with the kids. I want you to do a pre-order. And the other thing too, a lot of you could do with your kids is you could actually pre-write a book, right? I'm a huge fan of doing books with kids. So whatever your things are that you're going to do, right? You want to get out and you want to pre-sell them. I have a marketplace you can join at any time. When you call into our team and talk to our team about it, we'll get you into our marketplace. It's 13 hours guaranteed to make money. But think about, what are the kids going to do? What are they excited about? Do they want to edit videos? Do they want to help adults with functions on their phone? Do they want to do other gaming? Believe it or not, I got to say it for you parents who really don't want to hear it. Gaming is a business, and hacking is a business. People are being paid and setting up business or hacking. I have some kids who learn through simulators. I was just thinking of all the different fun ones I have. I have some kids who learn from flight simulators how to fly drones, and are literally in their teens and being paid to fly drones. So I'm talking great businesses, big 6 figures, because other companies have them. You just have to be the leader of the company until your child's old enough, an adult, 18 years old, to take it over. But why not start it and let them run now? If they're on their way to being an entrepreneur, you might as well begin. And remember, part of the money, you always want to make sure there's an investment process going on. So you're building the business to build your wealth, and a portion always goes into an investment account. So what are the things you need to do to get set up? You get a corporate credit card, you get a debit card. I'd say to not use the debit card very frequently and use the corporate credit card, and have the corporate credit card in the company name. And as the child gets older, you can have it in the company name and their name. And at 16, you'll start getting a little credit interest. So by the time they're 18 and they actually take over fully, that'll be good corporate credit and a huge jump start to their personal credit managed properly. Before I get to how to do a 6-figure business, I want you to subscribe. This is really important conversation that we're having. Make sure you click the notification when you subscribe. So every day I'm going to come live to you, giving more information and more conversation about how to make money, keep money, invest money, and use a team. So how do you build 6 figures? Well, if you're going to go out and, do whatever you're going to do, because I have so many breadths of businesses you can do from. You could be a cake maker, deliver cakes, from jewelry, woodworking, you name it. There's so many businesses that you could build. And you know that out on the internet, somebody's making 6 figures. So let's break that down. That's only $8,333.33 a month. So it's about $416 a day. So I want you to really play with those numbers with your kid, and together come up with, what could you do? What could you offer? And here's the big value. You don't have to do all the work. Who could you hire? Who could you subcontract? Who, if you could front face and be out on all the different social platforms, having the conversation about what you're great at and how you want to bring in the business, that's 6 figures. And then who could you hire? Here's the greatest activity that I love giving people who are working on 6-figure business. Design a little organization chart without you in it, or specifically where you and the kids are going to be in it. So you're really creating that great entrepreneur. You're going to need somebody to market, which I'd assume that would be the kids. Somebody's going to go out and sell and get those pre-orders and get to revenue as fast as you can. Somebody has to actually do the accounting and the fulfillment and oversee the technology and every other department that it takes to run a company. But running the company and then managing it so you have high profitability, do the proper deductions so you pay the least amount of tax, it's not difficult to reach six figures. I have a lot of clients that do it with their kids, especially those kids that are heading into 14, 15, 16 that want a job. Instead of getting a job in this environment, create an entrepreneurial venture. One last and massive tip is, who can you, once you get the business, subcontract the work to? So you're the one actually getting the business, but not doing the work. Then you have huge value. Or the opposite, who has a bunch of work where you could be the subcontract and you and just go in and do all the fulfillment. So lots of ways to grab six figures in a business model with you and your kid. Let's get started today. So how do you teach them the value of a business and how to start a business? Be in it with them. It's the number one way. So for those of you who really want to deepen this whole conversation, I wrote a whole book about it. It's called Put More Cash in Your Pocket. So today only, I'm going to let you have the whole darn thing. It's vital that you read through it. It talks about the infrastructure, talks about the taxes, how to get to profitability fast. Everything that I just talked about is recapped in Put More Cash in Your Pocket. So in the description, click on the link, download the book, and right next to it, right attached to it when you get the book, will be an application. And it's an application to make six figures. You and your children apply together, and let's go make $100,000 in the next 12 months.